Hello and welcome again to the Inventors Arena. I'm Ed and this is Jeff. And today we're going to be discussing branding for sales and presentation. Jeffrey, take it away.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, Ed, at the Inventors Arena. Branding is what makes a company unique. It's what distinguishes it from competitors. It reflects the core values of the company. And the rule of thumb is the less a brand describes what a company sells, the greater the value it has inherently.
Really? What's a good example of that, Jeffrey?
Well, I always like to use Google. That's an invented word. Before Google, there was no other use of that term for internet search engines, so they came along. They used a completely random, arbitrary word to describe their services. And now you can't use Google in any way, shape, or form because of how strong their trademark and their reach is.
Yeah, that's
inherent strength to their fame.
Very good example. I was thinking of Nike and the Swish. And
Nike is another one. Apple is an example of a good arbitrary use of a word. Apple does not describe computers in any way, shape, or form. So its recognition is through their own company's goodwill and reputation, which is what
and it's so highly tied to that. And Apple being like probably one of the largest firms in the world, how heavily they depend on, innovation for Apple and just, the icons wherever you go on the backs of the computers, it's always a noticeable thing. And
absolutely,
whether it's a Swish or a Apple with a bite out of it, that's what you're associating with that company. And that's very important, right? Yeah. My background is, as our audience knows, I'm a patent agent. So I protect the usefulness of an invention, the utility of it and so forth, or I protect the aesthetic design for design patents or whatever. But many people I've found over my career get trademarks and branding confused with patent protection. And it's very important. And this is why we have the channel so that we can tell our audience these differences so they can be informed on it. And again, it's not legal advice, but we're certainly here to help you. And these are some of the questions we get. So maybe, Jeff, you can share some more input. And Jeffrey is a trademark attorney here in Scottsdale. So maybe you can share some more thoughts with us on that, Jeff.
Sure. So I get asked that a lot too. What are the differences between a patent and a trademark? Oftentimes clients come to my office, and in general, if they are brand new to the sphere of intellectual property, they know they thought of something, but they're not exactly sure how to protect it. The United States gives three kinds of grants or three kinds of assets that the United States will issue. You have a patent, you have a trademark, and you have a copyright. A patent protects something that is new, useful, non-obvious. A trademark is protecting a brand identity, who's selling the product. Copyrights protect original authorship. So general rule of thumb is if you've created something that's tangible, that has utility, you might be looking for a patent. But once you turn that patent into a product and you give it a name, now you're looking at a trademark. And then you start marketing your business. You build a website, you have catalogs, you're taking images. Now you have copyrights.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's always nice to know and hear about the background on things that are interesting like that. So maybe you can share with us some of your branding thoughts. So I know Jeff has filed a ton of trademarks in his career. I was going to tease him a little bit about running with the bulls from the past or whatever, but anyway.
Good old Pamplona days.
He's written some dynamite trademarks and had the applications go through, and very happy clients. So maybe you can fill us in some more on the thoughts of the importance of branding and trademarking just for their audience so that they can kind of see, well, is this important to me and why?
Sure. Anytime you want to protect something, whether it's, in my opinion, a new product or an invention or, say, a trademark because you want to protect the business name, the logo or design, you obviously want to be thinking about the big picture. What is the overall business model? But for many, when you do have something new and unique, you always want to have at least 3 unique selling propositions for your business, whatever it is you're slinging out there in the marketplace. You should have 3 novelties or unique selling propositions, what makes you special. But once you do achieve something that is special, you start making that secret sauce and people start liking it. You're developing a reputation, you're developing a goodwill. And that goodwill and that reputation is enveloped in a trademark. That is the asset that protects the goodwill. That allows an owner of a trademark to defend their name if a competitor who enters the market after the trademark registrant has already established their territory, if they start using a confusingly similar name, they start stealing that spotlight, they start invading on that goodwill, that reputation, and they're causing confusion amongst consumers.
Yeah,
a trademark allows you
the recognizable part of it, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, because if somebody comes along with a computer and they got an Apple icon on the back, somebody's going to assume, oh, that's an Apple product, and all of a sudden they use it, and it doesn't work well. It's like, and that could really injure the business, right?
And in today's e-commerce, society, economy, in order to qualify for federal trademark protection, you do have to be using the name throughout the United States. But if you're selling your products or services on the internet, which most people do, that satisfies that interstate commerce requirement, allows you to file a federal trademark with the USPTO.
Very good.
And that allows you, if you're based in Alabama and somebody in Florida starts using your federally trademarked name, that allows you to hail that Florida entity into federal court. Whereas if you're in Alabama, you don't have jurisdiction to enforce state rights. Now a federal trademark allows you to get that competitor into federal court.
Yeah, very good. So what's the difference? What are some other things to consider is, say, putting the TM by the mark or going for the registered trademark?
Well, if you think of a name that you want to use, Inventors Academy, if it's not registered yet, you could still put the TM afterwards. Mm-hmm. Anyone can use a TM if you want to hold yourself out as a trademark. You're telling the public, you're telling the consumers out there, this is a trademark. But you can only display the R symbol after the trademark application registers. So anytime you intend to use a name as a trademark, use the TM symbol. But only after the mark registers can you put the R with a circle. Very good. Yeah, that's good advice. Yeah, we always tell people, don't put the patent pending on the patent until it's filed. And so, but you're putting people on notice and you're really protecting your rights, right? So that's great. Most definitely.
So Jeff, would you mind summarizing for us the importance of a trademark in relation to an invention? It seems to me it all kind of comes down to recognition of the product in a marketplace for the importance of a trademark. What can you share with us about that?
Well, trademarks are going to give you protection on that name. And if you begin using a unique product, people are going to associate that unique product with whatever business is selling it first. The trademark allows you to give that protection on that name. And it's one way to protect yourself from copycats and others, because in reality, there's kind of 2 ways to steal other people's intellectual property. You can start selling a very similar product, or you could sell a different product, but under a confusingly similar name.
Very true. Yeah, that's all great advice. Well, we sure appreciate you sharing all the information. At the end of the video, too, we're going to share Jeffrey's contact informations, and then you can contact him with any questions that you might have. So I want to thank you again, Jeffrey, for joining us. And it's very valuable information. Thanks for joining me with when we went to Spain there and rode a race with the bulls. That was lots of fun and always good to share ideas and fun while we go through our careers together. So really appreciate it. And as always, we encourage you to go to the inventorsarena.com. We always encourage you to join an inventors group if you'd all possibly can. Get in there and be a part of it. Send us your suggestions for your new content. Like and subscribe for new content, and always appreciate your thumbs up. The Inventors